guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Sparta Green Ranger, and today we are talking about a Power Rangers lore about the very first Ranger team to ever be made in our universe. Of course, this comes from Power Rangers Universe, issues 1 through 6. Now, if you want to pick this up, go check out your local comic shop, but trade paperback should be hitting shelves very soon as well. Guys, this is by far one of my favorite comic book series, and it's highly recommended by not just myself, but many others. Now, before we get into this, make sure you smash that like button and make sure you subscribe. But here we go, the very first Ranger team here on Sparta Green Ranger Reviews. Let's get to it. Our story opens on the planet 0117 in the A47 galaxy, with the Morphonaut entering the morphing grid through an archway with the assistance of his friend Cheetle. This all goes wrong instantly as a dark enemy is on the other side, and Cheetle cannot close the arch from their side, leaving the Morphonaut only one choice, but to blow this side of the arch, leaving him stranded in the grid. Time then jumps 584 years into the future, where the lab of the Morphonaut has now become a hideout and hangout for a young Morphin master named Orisanth, who is running an experiment before the race ascends into the morphing grid. Her plan is to power this experimental arch using their morphing heart. We then meet Vivali speaking with Ori's father, Krator, where we discover 0117 is the last responding Master Forge left in the galaxy, and their race is fleeing into the morphing grid to survive whatever's coming. We then meet Vivali's daughter, Rihan, who is working to evacuate the planet when she runs into Firo. We also learn a pretty cool fact that dinosaurs are alive on this planet, as Firo is feeding one named Wendy. Dawn and Firo then head to the home of Telosi. Telosi has been worried because he's not had any contact from Zev. Zev has not made contact since the attack on Master Forge Namaze. They all together then decide they're going to head to Ori's hideout and see if they can hack into the camera systems from Namaze to find out what went wrong. While the rest of the group are heading towards the hideout, Ori is packing up to head to the Master Arch. Aaliyah then shows up and scares Ori out of their wits' end. The rest of the group then arrive and talk Ori into helping them hack into the footage of Master Forge Namaze. What they find is utterly disturbing, as these dark creatures have attacked and left nothing in their wake. The group then head outside and see that the Master Arch from the Forge has been activated, and they head that way. They then see that someone is flying out of the arch when they're getting ready to enter. They see that person and decide they need to rescue him. Krator says he will hold the Forge open as long as he can, and they go to rescue him. The group arrive and find that the Morphonaut has survived all this time and is overflowing with grid energy. He's conscious long enough to say he's coming, and then the city is set upon by dark forces. With the entry forces landing, we learn really quick that these dark entities can take over living matter, but the Morphonaut, however, can use his overflowing grid energy to stop this effect from happening. The group makes the ultimate sacrifice to blow up the arch so the forces cannot enter into the morphing grid, leaving them stranded on the planet. They then run to their old school where Telosi is attacked, but they learn really quick that it was Zev after the Morphonaut uses the energy to free Zev from the dark control. With the Morphonaut overflowing with grid energy, he can barely stand, he's in too much pain. When Ori comes up with the idea to share that energy between them using their morphing hearts. They then morph into Power Rangers for the very first time. This couldn't have happened at a better time because the main force of this army, being led by who we now know is Dark Spectre, has just arrived. With these new powers, the Ranger team takes the fight to Dark Spectre's forces. They're doing really well and finally get a chance for a respite, when they then find out that these morphin hearts are actually damaging them. Ori builds casings for them to help relieve that kind of stress and dissipate the energy some. The Rangers find out there's only one way out, and that's to use the Proto-Arch. so they make their way there. However, the Morphonaut is starting to doubt himself and blame himself for all that's happened. When the Rangers arrive to the Proto-Arch, they find out that the Morphin Hearts just aren't being able to handle the power. If they continue to morph, it will destroy them. Ori's trying to figure out a way to handle this problem, but when that happens, the general of Dark Spectre's army threatens them and gives them 5 minutes to survive. Morphonaut goes out to take care of this himself and leaves them trapped inside the facility. This doesn't set well with the Rangers, and they come up with a plan for Ori to finish fixing the devices that they use to change. They take the fight outside without powers, and then Ori arrives in the nick of time, giving them their medallions with their morphing hearts. And the team finally morphs for the first official time into their true first Ranger forms. For hardcore Ranger and Super Sentai fans, you guys know what these suits are. These suits are directly the adaptation of the Gosei Sentai Dairanger suits. Throughout the entire fight, it is shown that the general knows the Morphonaut. It turns out to be none other than Chindle, his best friend and partner. We unfortunately learned that it was Chindle that released Dark Spectre due to Dark Spectre messing with his fear and his loss of the Morphonaut. We do unfortunately lose Chindle because he was mortally wounded before being freed. The Rangers and Morphonauts then head back inside the lab, where it's actually found that Ori was able to reestablish a connection inside the morphing grid with their families. Unfortunately, Dark Spectre is starting to enter the hearts and minds of the Rangers, and they are starting to fight one another, and is tearing them all apart. Seeing what's going on, the Morphonaut decides there's only one way to save the team. He gives himself up to Dark Spectre and lets him use him as his vessel. This does in fact work and frees the team from his control. The team then decide to shut down the arch from this side, and Dark Spectre comes back out. A battle ensues, and they are fighting back and forth until the Rangers realize that he is still susceptible to grid energy. Dark Spectre tells them he will not give up his perfect vessel, and he will not be freed. The Rangers realize if they flood the world with morphin energy, it will free the planet and the Morphonaut from Dark Spectre's control. So they shatter their morphers and flood the entire planet with morphine energy. This does in fact work, and the Morphonaut is freed, but at a personal cost for the Ranger teams. They are no longer living nor dead, but something else entirely. This, I believe, is where they became the first emissaries of the Morphin Grid. The now emissaries of the Morphin Grid then take parts of their Ranger Morphin hearts and combine them into a crystal and give that crystal to the Morphonaut, dubbing him now the Phantom Ranger, as he will only be a phantom of the powers he once had. It was at this point the emissaries then open a portal and send the Phantom Ranger through it, stating that he will be needed again to train Rangers of the future. The emissaries then go their separate ways for a time. Rion to train future Rangers, Ori and Theo will monitor the grid itself as it thrives and as grid technology advances. Zev and Tolosi will be on the hunt for Dark Spectre, and Alea will remain and protect the planet. The story then wraps up with the Phantom Ranger being tossed out of a portal eons later on the planet of Eltar, and we get to see a young Zordon demanding answers on what's going on. But there you go, guys. The story of the very first Ranger team. Power Rangers Universe is a 6-issue miniseries, like I said at the beginning, and by far has been one of the best miniseries Boom Studios has released to date. Now, I know a lot of people are going to go, but this isn't canon, but we do know for statements that the comic books are being considered about canon light. Main storyline comics don't line up with the TV show, but these sub-comics they're trying to make line up so we can have answers to questions we've never had before. Now, guys, I highly, highly recommend that you check out Power Rangers Universe issue 1 through 6. You can pick them up from your local comic book shop now, or a trade paperback will be coming in the very near future. As always, guys, if you liked the video today, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. If you didn't, a thumbs down is okay too. I get the feedback either way. Also, I want to thank you all so much for all the love and support that you've shown me. At the time of recording this video, I just passed 1,000 subscribers, which is a huge milestone for me. Guys, if you want to help out the channel, make sure you check out the affiliate links down below. They'll help you help the channel grow and keep pushing out amazing content like the one you've just watched today. Also, make sure if you haven't liked before, throw me a like. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button. We make amazing Power Ranger content, and I don't want you to miss out. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell so when you're notified when I post my next video. Also, make sure notifications are turned on if you're using your mobile device. Again, guys, thank you for all the love and support. May the power protect you, and we'll see you in the next video. Always be reading comic books. Peace.